The Galactic Council Hall hung in the void like a giant diamond. Stars reflected off its crystal-like walls, and the silence of space made every movement feel deliberate. From hundreds of worlds, species had gathered, diplomats, generals, scholars, and spies, all here to decide the direction of the galaxy. The hall was massive, with floating platforms, hovering chambers, and energy barriers separating different species. It was a place of order and power, yet beneath the surface, tension crackled like static. Among the crowd, a small human delegation entered the council chambers. Captain Elias Vorn walked at the front, tall, composed, with a calm confidence that seemed unusual to the many alien species who had never seen humans up close. Behind him were his crew, soldiers, and technicians, moving quietly but alert. They did not carry weapons openly. Their uniforms were simple, clean, and practical, with insignias marking their roles, but to most of the council, they seemed almost unremarkable. The council members watched them carefully. Most species were centuries ahead of humanity in technology and military might. Many had fleets capable of destroying planets with a single strike. And yet the humans walked in without hesitation, without bowing, without fear. It was a small gesture, but it unsettled many of the delegates. "Captain Vorn of Earth," said the council speaker, a tall being with 6 arms and translucent skin that shifted colors depending on mood. "We are aware that your species is young. Your technology, your numbers, your homeworld, all are insignificant compared to the rest of the galaxy. Why have you come?" Vorn stepped forward, voice calm but firm. "We have come to join the council as equals. We wish to share knowledge, trade, and ensure peace, but make no mistake. Humanity will not bow where it does not belong." A murmur passed through the chambers. Many species chuckled or whispered. One delegate, a reptilian being with jagged scales, hissed, "Insignificant yet bold enough to call ourselves equals. How amusing." Vorn ignored the comment, his eyes scanning the room carefully. He had been trained for this, trained to handle ridicule, threats, and subtle intimidation. Humans had a long history of surviving in hostile conditions, of improvising when outnumbered or outgunned. That history gave him confidence. Beside him, Dr. Lyra Dane, the human diplomat, whispered, "Captain, they are already testing us. We need to be careful. Any wrong move could escalate quickly." "I am aware," Vorn replied, his voice low. "Let them test us. They will learn quickly that humans are not so easy to underestimate." The humans were asked to demonstrate a part of their technology. Council members wanted proof that humans were not a threat, but also proof that they had something valuable. Vorn nodded and signaled his crew. From hidden compartments in their uniforms, small devices rose into the air. Miniature drones, polished and sleek, hovered silently. The alien delegates leaned forward, curious but still skeptical. "Tiny toys," muttered one. "A floating gelatinous being that communicated by changing shape and color. Primitive." Easily destroyed, Vorn activated the drones. Instantly, they split into precise formations, moving with coordination that seemed impossible for such small machines. They formed patterns, replicated simple maneuvers, and dodged obstacles the humans created on the spot. "Coordination, strategy, adaptability," Vorn said, gesturing toward the drones. "These are the qualities humans apply in every field. Even when outnumbered, we find ways to succeed." Some delegates frowned. They had not expected the drones to respond so quickly or intelligently. Others laughed quietly, dismissing it as a clever trick rather than a demonstration of genuine ability. Still, Vorn sensed the unease. Even the most dismissive members were whispering to each other. Humans, he knew, had a habit of turning doubt into confusion. Then, without warning, one of the alien delegates, an insectoid species with 6 legs and compound eyes, moved aggressively toward the drones, attempting to grab one. The drone anticipated the move and evaded, landing perfectly on a floating platform. The delegate stumbled, losing balance, and the hall erupted in shocked gasps. Vorn did not smile. "Our machines are not weapons," he said calmly. "They are extensions of our thinking, our strategy. If threatened, we defend ourselves, but we do not attack without cause." The council grew quieter. This was the first time humans had reacted to aggression in real time, and had done so with precision rather than brute force. Many species relied on overwhelming strength, raw firepower, or sheer numbers to dominate. Humans were proving that intelligence, speed, and adaptation could be just as effective. Behind Vorn, Dr. Dane noted the council's reactions. They're not used to being challenged so simply, she whispered. You're showing them a new kind of threat, one they can't easily measure. Vorn nodded. Exactly. Sometimes the greatest weapon is not what you carry, but how you think, how you respond. The council speaker, still maintaining a calm facade, leaned forward. Captain Vorn, you speak of defense and strategy, but what if your species is challenged directly? What if aggression comes without warning? Vorn paused for a moment, letting his answer hang in the air. Then humanity has ways to respond, ways the galaxy has never seen. A ripple of unease passed through the chamber. Some of the delegates shifted uncomfortably. Others stared with open fascination. Humans were small in number, their planets few and seemingly insignificant. Yet the confidence they displayed suggested something far greater, an unpredictability that could not be ignored. One ambassador, a bird-like being with feathers of gold, whispered to a companion, "Are they serious? Do they actually believe they could match us?" Vorn heard the comment. He did not react, but his calm gaze carried weight. Humans had survived much worse, and every species that had underestimated them in history had eventually learned the cost of that mistake. The session continued, but tension remained high. Humans did not bow, they did not cower, and they did not engage in petty negotiations to please the council. Their presence alone was a challenge. Later, in a private chamber aboard the human ship, the Predator Vorn and his crew gathered around a holographic display. Observation reports? Vorn asked. Lieutenant Mara Chen, head of tactical systems, replied, They are underestimating us. Some of them already plan to test our limits. One delegate tried minor sabotage on the drones earlier. We stopped it without alerting them. Vorn frowned. That's the danger. Humans are new to the galactic stage, and these species will push us. We cannot be reckless, but we also cannot appear weak. If they sense weakness. He left the sentence unfinished. Everyone understood. Dr. Dane stepped forward. Captain, diplomacy is fragile here. Our actions matter more than words. We must continue to show strength, but without provocation. Otherwise, we risk war before we even gain respect. Vorn nodded. Agreed. But let them understand one thing. If humanity is threatened, the galaxy will witness our true capability. Not just our machines, but our minds, our adaptability, and our resolve. That is the warning they will remember. As the humans prepared for the next session, the council chambers continued to buzz with whispers, speculation, and quiet tension. Every species sensed it. Humans were different. Not in power or size, but in something deeper, something that could not be measured by technology or numbers alone. The Galactic Council Hall never felt more tense. Even with its crystal walls, floating platforms, and holographic displays, the air seemed heavy with suspicion. Delegates from countless worlds whispered among themselves, exchanging stories and warnings about humans. Many had never met the species in person, and now the humans stood calmly among them, unshaken by the ridicule or subtle threats. Captain Elias Vorn walked slowly through the chamber, his long coat flowing behind him. His crew followed closely, quiet and alert. The previous day's demonstration with the drones had left the council murmuring, unsure whether humans were clever or reckless. The insectoid delegate with 6 legs still glared, furious at being embarrassed by a machine they thought primitive. Dr. Lyra Dane walked beside Vorn. They're testing us again, she whispered. I can feel it. Someone wants to provoke a reaction. They'll try to push us until we make a mistake. Vorn nodded. Let them try. Humans adapt quickly. The galaxy has never seen that before. The council speaker, the 6-armed, translucent being whose colors shifted constantly, floated to the center of the chamber. Captain Vorn, it said, voice echoing across the hall. Some of our members are concerned. Your species shows promise, but your technology, your tactics, they are unusual. We request a further demonstration of your capabilities. Show us the extent of your defensive strategies. A ripple of excitement passed through the chamber. Many delegates smirked, thinking they could push the humans into overreacting. Others leaned forward, curious. Humans had been underestimated for so long. Now they had to prove their place or be dismissed. Vorn nodded, gesturing to Lieutenant Mara Chen. Prepare the tactical display. We will show them the adaptive systems of the Predator. Nothing more. Nothing less. The humans moved swiftly, coordinated and silent. Holographic screens activated, displaying a 3-dimensional model of a small battlefield. Alien delegates leaned closer. The model showed small human drones, ships, and defensive systems. It seemed simple at first glance, too simple. Many council members whispered, "Amateurish." Vorn raised a hand. "This is not a threat," he said calmly. "It is a demonstration. Watch how humans respond when faced with multiple aggressive forces simultaneously. Observe not only our technology but our strategy, our adaptability." The simulation began. Alien drones, larger, faster, and more heavily armed, entered the field. Immediately, the human drones reacted, dodging attacks with precision and forming new formations faster than anyone expected. They moved like living creatures, weaving around obstacles, covering each other, and attacking weak points. The reptilian delegate hissed. "This is clever but simple. Nothing unusual." Then one of the larger alien drones shifted unpredictably, attempting a maneuver the humans had never seen. But the Predator's systems adapted instantly, recalculating trajectories and countering the threat before it could reach the human drones. Murmurs filled the council chambers. Some species were intrigued. Others were worried. No one had expected a species so young to react so quickly to unforeseen challenges. An ambush simulation followed. 3 alien drones appeared from hidden locations, attempting to corner the human fleet. Vorn's crew adjusted instantly. Drones moved in perfect synchronization, predicting enemy moves, blocking attacks, and trapping the aggressors in carefully calculated zones. "Adaptive intelligence," Vorn said quietly, letting the term resonate. Not size, not firepower. Strategy. That is the strength of humanity. The gelatinous species, which communicated through color changes, shifted its entire body into a pattern that indicated astonishment. Its companions murmured, clearly surprised. Even the 6-armed council speaker paused, examining the display with newfound caution. Then the unexpected happened. One of the alien delegates, clearly impatient, attempted a direct attack. They unleashed a small, fast drone, aimed directly at the human's control interface. The humans reacted instantly. The drone was intercepted by 2 smaller Predator units, captured and neutralized, all within seconds. The chamber erupted in whispers. Delegates who had laughed before were now uneasy. Humans were quick, precise, and ruthless when necessary, but they did not overreact. They controlled the situation, not with brute force, but with intelligence and timing. Dr. Dane observed the reactions, noting which species seemed impressed and which were visibly tense. "Captain," she said softly, "they are beginning to realize something."
"They are afraid."
"But they don't understand why. We've only shown them a small part of our capability." Vorn nodded, eyes scanning the chamber. "Fear is not the goal. Respect is. If they begin to fear, that is their choice. But we will earn respect by proving that humans are not predictable, not weak, and not bound by expectations." A small commotion caught Vorn's attention. The insectoid delegate had tried to interfere with the simulation physically, moving their drone into the human zone. Vorn remained calm, raising his hand slightly. The Predator drones adjusted instantly, neutralizing the interference without causing harm. The delegate stumbled, embarrassed, and muttered angrily under their breath. "That's the problem with underestimating humans," Vorn said quietly. "We do not act recklessly, but we adapt instantly. That makes us dangerous in ways the galaxy has never seen." The council speaker floated closer, the color of its skin shifting to deep blue, a sign of serious contemplation. "Captain, your species' reaction to sudden aggression. It is unusual. Most species rely on overwhelming firepower. You rely on intelligence and adaptation. It is impressive." Vorn allowed a small, respectful nod. "Thank you. But intelligence is only part of what humans offer. Creativity, courage, and moral judgment are just as important. We do not attack without cause. We do not destroy without purpose. But if challenged, humanity responds decisively." The council session ended for the day, but whispers continued. Delegates moved among themselves, discussing the humans, debating their capabilities and reconsidering assumptions. Many had assumed Earthlings were weak, slow, or insignificant. That assumption was being dismantled piece by piece. Later, aboard the Predator, the humans debriefed. Crew members spoke in calm tones, reviewing simulations and council reactions. Lieutenant Chen noted, "Some of the delegates are beginning to respect us. Others, they fear what they do not understand. That can be useful." Vorn leaned against the control panel, eyes distant. "We have not revealed our full strength," he said. "Not even close. Today was a small demonstration, a way to show that humans are not fools, Tomorrow, the real test will begin. Some of these species will attempt to provoke us further. We must be ready to respond, but always on our terms. Dr. Dane crossed her arms, studying the tactical displays. Captain, some members are already plotting against us. They will not accept humans as equals easily. They will push, test, and maybe even attempt sabotage. Are we prepared for that? Vorn smiled faintly. Prepared? Yes, but we do not reveal everything at once. The galaxy must learn the hard way that humans are not to be underestimated. They may think they know how we will act, but they do not. That is our advantage. The humans spent the rest of the day preparing, not in fear, but in careful calculation. Every crew member understood the importance of the upcoming sessions. The Council would continue to test them, to provoke, and to measure their strength. Humans had faced challenges far greater than this on their own world, in harsh environments and impossible situations. This was merely another test. That evening, Vorn walked to the observation deck of the Predator, looking out at the endless stars. Below, the Council's massive structure spun slowly, a hub of politics, power, and diplomacy. Somewhere within, the galaxy's oldest and most powerful species plotted, doubted, and judged. Vorn spoke quietly to himself, almost as if speaking to all of humanity. They do not understand us. They cannot predict us, and that will be their mistake. Dr. Dane joined him silently. She looked at the stars, then back at Vorn. We will not underestimate them either, Captain. But the galaxy will soon realize that humanity is not weak. Not by a long shot, Vorn nodded. Exactly. And when that day comes, the Council will witness the Predator unleashed. Without warning, the humans returned to their quarters, but the tension remained. They were calm, disciplined, and prepared. Every alien in the Council chambers had a choice: to test the humans further or to observe quietly. Many had already begun to sense that humans were more than they appeared. The next day, the Council hall felt heavier than before. Delegates whispered in clusters, their alien voices overlapping into a low hum that filled the chambers. Every species that had laughed at humans yesterday now watched them with cautious eyes. Even those who had been curious now seemed tense, unsure of what humanity might do next. Captain Elias Vorn entered the hall with his usual calm confidence. His crew followed silently, moving as one, perfectly in sync. Humans were small in number, yet they carried an aura that unsettled the larger, older species. Their reputation had begun to change overnight, from insignificant to unpredictable, from weak to dangerous in ways the Council could not yet measure. The Council speaker floated to the center, its shifting translucent colors darkening. Captain Vorn, your species continues to demonstrate unusual capabilities. Yet some members of this Council remain unconvinced of your intentions. They request that humans disarm entirely, to show that you pose no threat. A murmur ran through the chamber. Many delegates exchanged smug looks, certain that humans would comply or stumble. Some even whispered among themselves that the Earthlings were inexperienced and would panic if forced to surrender their technology. Dr. Lyra Dane leaned slightly toward Vorn. They're pushing too far. Some delegates plan to force our hand. We need to be careful. One wrong move and they may attempt sabotage or worse. Vorn's eyes scanned the room. Careful does not mean weak. Humanity does not act out of fear. We act with intelligence, with strategy, and when necessary, with decisive force. They will learn that soon enough. Vorn raised a hand. Humans will comply with the Council's request, to the extent that it does not compromise our survival or the safety of others. But understand this. Any aggression against us will be met with precise and measured response, the reptilian delegate hissed. You speak of measured response. Yet your drones and machines, yesterday's display, demonstrated more skill than most fleets here can achieve. You speak of peace, but we see threat. Peace does not require weakness, Vorn said. It requires strength, discipline, and understanding. Humans have all three, but do not mistake our restraint for fear. A sudden commotion rose from the back of the chamber. One of the more aggressive species, an octopoid being with flexible tentacles and hardened chitin, attempted to sabotage the human systems by sending a covert signal to disrupt the drone's operation. Its goal was clear: make the humans look incompetent so the Council could justify disarmament. Vorn's sensors detected the interference instantly. With a subtle gesture, he activated a countermeasure. The attempted disruption failed without anyone noticing. The human drones continued their formation, flawless, adaptive, and precise. Dr. Dane whispered, They're testing us again. They want to provoke a mistake. Vorn smiled faintly. Let them. Humans do not stumble easily. They do not panic. That is why we endure where others fail. The Council decided to move the humans and their crew to an observation arena orbiting a neutral planet, a controlled space where combat demonstrations could be conducted safely. The human ship, the Predator, glided silently into position, sleek and unassuming. Yet inside, every system was ready, every crew member alert. Once in the arena, the Council demanded another demonstration, this time of human defensive capabilities under direct pressure. Show us your fleet in action, the Council speaker said. Show us the full extent of your adaptability and strategy. Vorn understood the unspoken challenge. Some Council members wanted to humiliate humans, to test whether they could be provoked into overreaction, but Vorn had no intention of showing them everything. Humans never revealed their full potential at once. Prepare the Predator, Vorn said. But remember, precision, not aggression. We respond only when necessary. The humans activated the Predator fleet. From hidden bays in the ship, small but formidable craft emerged. They moved like a living organism, coordinating with perfect timing. The Council had expected a display of raw firepower. Instead, they saw something different, something alien species had rarely encountered. Intelligence applied in real time. Alien ships in the arena attempted to overwhelm the humans with numbers and speed. The Predator drones divided, adapted, and coordinated. They blocked attacks, created defensive barriers, and exploited weaknesses with surgical precision. It was not sheer strength that won the simulation. It was strategy, adaptability, and foresight. Impressive, murmured the bird-like delegate. Yet I wonder this is only a demonstration. Perhaps, Vorn said aloud. But remember, humans learn faster than most species anticipate. We turn small setbacks into advantages. We adapt to surprise. That is our strength. The octopoid species tried another maneuver, directing multiple drones to attack a single human craft. The Predator fleet anticipated the strategy, trapping the octopoid drones in a containment pattern while the humans maintained formation. The alien ships were forced into retreat, not destroyed but neutralized. The Council's whispers grew louder. Some delegates exchanged anxious glances. Humans were proving that their strength was not in numbers or raw power, but in unpredictability, intelligence, and unity. One of the Council members, a crystalline entity whose body refracted light in impossible ways, asked, Captain Vorn, your species demonstrates adaptability, precision, and coordination. Yet you refuse to reveal the full extent of your capabilities. Why? Vorn paused, letting the question hang. Because true strength is not in what one shows freely. It is in what one does when forced. Humans respond decisively, but only when necessary. Those who underestimate us will learn that too late. Suddenly, the octopoid delegate launched a risky move, sending a high-speed strike aimed directly at the humans' command center. The Predator fleet reacted instantly, intercepting the attack before it could cause any harm. The alien attempt failed, leaving the octopoid delegate visibly flustered. Adaptability, Vorn said calmly. Humans thrive under pressure. We respond to threats intelligently, not recklessly. And that is why you should respect, not underestimate, our species. The simulation ended. The Council floated in silence, stunned. Many delegates had expected humans to falter, to panic, or to overreact. Instead, they had demonstrated intelligence, discipline, and moral control. Humans had neutralized threats without unnecessary destruction, outthinking species who had ruled the stars for centuries. Dr. Dane whispered to Vorn, They're beginning to fear us, but not completely. They don't yet understand what we are capable of if we are pushed. Vorn's gaze hardened. That is their mistake. They assume we are predictable. They assume we will act according to their expectations. Humans are neither. Back aboard the Predator, the crew reviewed the demonstration. Every movement, every countermeasure, every decision had been perfect. The humans had shown restraint, intelligence, and strength all at once. They had not needed to destroy anything to make a point. The galaxy was learning the hard way that humans were not to be underestimated. Lieutenant Chen spoke softly. Captain, they are planning further tests. Some members will attempt aggression outside Council rules. They will see if we can be provoked into overreaction. Vorn nodded. Then let them. Humanity has survived worse than this. We adapt, we respond, we endure. That is our advantage. They will only realize it when it is too late. The humans spent the night preparing, not in fear, but in calculated readiness. Every system was checked, every crew member briefed, and every potential scenario anticipated. Humans had long survived in hostile environments on Earth. Deserts, jungles, freezing wastelands, and crowded cities where danger was constant. This challenge was nothing compared to what their species had endured. In the quiet of the observation deck, Vorn looked out at the stars. The council's members were plotting, judging, and debating. Yet none could predict how humans would act in the face of sudden aggression. That unpredictability was humanity's weapon, and it was ready. Dr. Dane joined him, placing a hand lightly on his arm. Tomorrow they will push further. Some may even attempt sabotage or attack. Are we ready? Vorn's eyes glinted. We are always ready. They believe humans are weak. That is their mistake. Tomorrow they will see how dangerous it is to underestimate an entire species. The humans returned to their quarters with quiet determination. The council believed it was in control. It believed it could manipulate the humans. But the humans knew the truth. Intelligence, courage, adaptability, and restraint were more powerful than brute force. The arena above the neutral planet was silent, save for the low hum of hovering ships. The council's delegates floated in observation pods, their eyes fixed on the humans' vessel, the Predator. The humans had shown intelligence, adaptability, and precision in simulations, but today, some council members had grown impatient. Their whispers had become plotting. Disarm them completely, hissed the octopoid delegate, tentacles curling in anger. Show us their weakness. Make them obey. Others, older and wiser, cautioned restraint. Careful. Their capabilities are not fully known. Do not provoke them. Captain Elias Vorn moved through the Predator's control deck with calm precision. His crew, every member disciplined and alert, awaited orders. The humans had anticipated that some delegates would attempt aggression beyond the arena's rules. And now, it was about to happen. Dr. Lyra Dane leaned over the tactical display. Captain, sensors detect multiple council ships moving unexpectedly. They're trying to provoke a reaction. Some ships are armed for immediate strike. Vorn's expression did not change. Then it is time. Not in anger, not for vengeance, but to defend ourselves and those who cannot protect themselves. Unleash the Predator. From the Predator's hidden bays, hundreds of small, sleek craft emerged. They moved silently at first, barely visible against the stars. Then they formed a pattern, a coordinated network that seemed almost alive. Each craft was an extension of the others, responding instantly to changes in speed, direction, and threat. The alien delegates watched in shock. That is impossible, whispered the crystalline entity. They are coordinating as if one mind controls them all. Vorn's voice echoed over the comms. Council delegates, humanity does not seek conflict. But any attack on us or our crew will be met with precision. We do not overreact. We do not destroy unnecessarily. But we will defend ourselves and allies decisively. The octopoid delegate, frustrated and reckless, launched the first strike. Its ship surged forward at maximum speed, attempting to disable the Predator fleet. But the human craft anticipated every move. They dodged, intercepted, and neutralized attacks without harm to innocent vessels. The council pods shook with astonishment. Alien species who had ruled the galaxy for centuries could not comprehend the humans' precision and adaptability. Every maneuver, every counter seemed impossible to predict. Vorn's tactical officer, Lieutenant Mara Chen, reported, "They are coordinating multiple attacks simultaneously. They are testing every parameter we predicted, but the Predator fleet is adapting in real time. No threats have reached our main vessel." Dr. Dane leaned close. Captain, some of the delegates are panicking. They are beginning to understand that we cannot be controlled or predicted. Vorn nodded. Exactly. Humanity thrives under pressure. We respond where others fail, not through brute force but through intelligence, strategy, and moral judgment. The humans' fleet moved as one entity. Individual craft split into smaller groups, flanking aggressive ships, creating traps and blocking approaches. Every alien maneuver was countered with precision. One by one, the attacking vessels were forced to retreat, their attempts to provoke humans rendered useless. The octopoid delegates' tentacles lashed in frustration. Impossible. These humans, they are not following logic. Vorn's voice was calm, almost gentle over the comms. We follow the logic of survival, of strategy, and of ethics. That is why humans endure. That is why we prevail when others fail. A minor skirmish erupted near a neutral observation platform. Several alien ships moved recklessly, threatening to strike Council members' pods. Humans acted instantly. Predator drones intercepted the threat, neutralizing attacks without causing harm. Delegates who were endangered looked on in awe, realizing humans were not only precise but restrained. Dr. Dane whispered, "They are beginning to respect us. But some are terrified. They cannot predict what humans will do next." Vorn's eyes were fixed on the arena. "Good, let them be unsettled. Let them understand that humans are not weak, not predictable, and not easily intimidated. Today they see only a fraction of our capability, and it is enough to change the galaxy's perception." The Predator fleet moved into an offensive pattern, not to attack indiscriminately, but to force the aggressive ships to disengage. With each calculated maneuver, humans demonstrated that intelligence and adaptability could outmatch raw firepower. Alien vessels retreated, their strategy failing against the humans' coordination and foresight. A council delegate, the crystalline being, muttered in disbelief. "They are not just surviving, they are controlling the battlefield," Vorn responded through the comms. "Humans do not seek domination, but we do seek survival, justice, and balance. Any who underestimate us will face consequences they cannot anticipate." The alien delegate scrambled to communicate, attempting to coordinate new attacks. Yet every attempt was countered, every approach neutralized not by chance but by design. The Predator fleet's adaptability exceeded anything the Council had witnessed. Dr. Dane observed the panic spreading. "Captain, some are attempting to flee the arena. Others are signaling for ceasefire. They are realizing that humans are not a species to be bullied or controlled." Vorn allowed himself a small nod. "Exactly. Respect is earned. It cannot be demanded. And today humanity earns it not through destruction, but through discipline, intelligence, and decisive action." The council pods were silent, save for the whispers of astonishment. Delegates who had laughed, mocked, or plotted against humans were now visibly tense. Some had begun to reconsider alliances and strategies. Humans were no longer a minor species to dismiss. They were a force to respect and understand. One of the bird-like delegates finally spoke aloud, voice trembling slightly. "Captain Vorn, your species demonstrates intelligence, coordination, and moral judgment unlike anything we have seen. You are remarkable." Vorn responded simply, "We are human. We endure, we adapt. We protect those who cannot protect themselves. That is all you need to know for now." The skirmish ended. Not a single human was harmed. Not a single neutral vessel was destroyed. The Predator fleet had acted decisively, precisely, and ethically. The aggressive alien ships retreated in disarray, forced to acknowledge the human superiority in strategy, adaptability, and moral control. Dr. Dane let out a quiet sigh. They finally see it. The Council now understands that humanity is different. That unpredictability, intelligence, and discipline make us formidable. Vorn looked at the stars beyond the arena, and this is only the beginning. Humanity will continue to grow, to innovate, and to endure. The galaxy will learn that we are not to be underestimated. The Council, shaken and awed, held an emergency session afterward. Discussions that had previously dismissed humanity as insignificant now centered on how to interact with a species that could respond to aggression in ways no one had predicted. Humans were no longer young, insignificant observers. They were now recognized as intelligent, strategic, and morally disciplined players in galactic politics. Even those who had tried to provoke humans now regarded them with cautious respect. Some debated alliances, while others simply observed silently, realizing that underestimating humanity could be disastrous. Vorn turned to his crew. This is what discipline, intelligence, and adaptability can achieve. Today, humans have shown the galaxy that we are not a species to be toyed with. Tomorrow, the Council will plan around us, not against us, and that is exactly as it should be. Dr. Dane smiled. Captain, the Predator fleet, your name is becoming known across the Council, not as a weapon of destruction, but as a symbol of human ingenuity and discipline. Vorn nodded, quietly proud but never arrogant. It is not about names or fame. It is about ensuring that humanity is respected, understood, and never underestimated again. As the humans prepared to leave the arena, the Council remained in stunned silence. Delegates floated, whispered, and recalculated strategies. For the first time, the galaxy recognized that humans were not just another species, they were unpredictable, intelligent and capable of decisive ethical action that no one could have anticipated. The Predator fleet returned to the human ship. Every crew member felt a quiet pride. They had acted with discipline, precision, and restraint. They had defended themselves without unnecessary destruction. And in doing so, they had changed the galaxy's perception of humanity forever. Vorn looked out at the stars once more. They now understand that humans are not to be underestimated. The galaxy has witnessed what restraint, intelligence, and adaptability can achieve, but they have yet to see the full potential of humanity, and that is a story for another day. The council chambers were quieter than ever. The previous day's demonstration in the arena had left a mark on every delegate. Some whispered cautiously among themselves. Others sat in stunned silence, reevaluating centuries of assumptions. Humans had done the impossible. They had defended themselves decisively, adapted faster than any species could anticipate, and acted with intelligence and restraint. Captain Elias Vorn stood at the front of the chamber, calm and composed as always. His crew remained behind him, disciplined, alert yet relaxed. They had done what they came to do, show that humanity could not be underestimated. But now the next challenge awaited, convincing the council that humans belonged among them as equals. The council speaker floated forward, its translucent body shifting through shades of blue and green. Captain Vorn, your species has demonstrated remarkable capability. Your adaptability, intelligence, and restraint have exceeded our expectations. Yet some members still question your intentions. Why should we trust humans? Vorn stepped forward. Because we do not seek domination. Humans protect, we innovate, we endure. Yesterday was not a show of aggression, but a demonstration of what is possible when humans are challenged. We respond with precision, intelligence, and morality. That is who we are. A murmur ran through the chambers. Some delegates nodded slowly while others exchanged cautious glances. Respect was growing, but fear still lingered in the air. Dr. Lyra Dane stepped beside Vorn. Captain, some members are still skeptical. They fear our unpredictability. Vorn nodded. Then let us remind them that intelligence and restraint are stronger than fear. Humanity does not act recklessly. We act decisively but with purpose. That is our strength. The crystalline delegate floated forward, its light refracting across the chamber. Captain, your species has shown exceptional skill. But how can we be sure that your restraint will continue? That humans will not act impulsively? Vorn's gaze was steady. Because humans value life, cooperation, and strategy. We do not fight for glory or conquest. We fight when necessary, and always with a goal greater than ourselves. Yesterday's demonstration proves we can act decisively but also responsibly. Another delegate, a bird-like species with golden feathers, finally spoke aloud. Captain Vorn, humans are unlike anything we have encountered. You survive, adapt, and think faster than we could imagine. It is impressive. Vorn inclined his head. Thank you. It is not about impressing anyone. It is about showing that humanity deserves a place in the galaxy, not as observers but as participants. The chamber shifted. Aliens who had plotted, mocked, or doubted humanity were now reconsidering their stance. Many had underestimated humans for centuries, assuming small planets and small populations equaled insignificance. They had been proven wrong. The octopoid delegate, still recovering from the arena encounter, waved its tentacles reluctantly. Captain, perhaps we have judged too quickly. Your species is formidable, Vorn nodded. We are human. We endure, we adapt, and we protect. Respect is earned, not demanded. Today, humanity earns its respect by showing that we are not to be underestimated. Whispers filled the chamber again, but this time, the tone was different. There was no mockery. There was curiosity, caution, and the beginning of admiration. The council was slowly realizing that humans were not just another species. They were intelligent, disciplined, and morally strong. Dr. Dane addressed the council. Members, humanity has never sought war with any species. We have survived against impossible odds on our own planet, and now we survive among you in the galaxy. Yesterday, the Predator fleet responded to aggression precisely and ethically. That is the way humans act. We do not seek dominance, but we demand respect. The council speaker shifted its colors to a calm green, a sign of approval. Captain Vorn, your words and actions have been Enlightening. It is clear that humanity is not a species to be underestimated. The Council must now reconsider its position. Vorn's eyes swept across the chambers. The galaxy is not ruled by fear. It is ruled by intelligence, courage, and moral judgment. Humans possess all three. That is why we endure. That is why we belong among you. A pause followed. The silence was heavy yet hopeful. Slowly the delegates began to nod. Some whispered agreements. Others floated closer, curious, no longer mocking. Respect had been earned. Not by numbers, not by weapons, but by discipline, intelligence, and moral action. The octopoid delegate, still hesitant, finally spoke. Perhaps humans are worthy of consideration. Your restraint and skill are unique. The Council should acknowledge your capabilities. Vorn inclined his head once more. Thank you. It is not our desire to dominate or threaten. It is our goal to exist as equals, to contribute and to protect. Humanity's strength is not just in survival, but in using that survival wisely. Several delegates began to discuss new alliances, treaties, and trade agreements. The galaxy was slowly recognizing that humans could not be ignored. They were clever, adaptable, disciplined, and morally grounded, a combination that few species possessed. Lieutenant Mara Chen observed quietly. Captain, respect has been earned. Many delegates now see us as equals, not threats. The Council is changing its perception of humanity. Vorn smiled faintly. Yes, but our work is not done. Today, respect has been earned. Tomorrow, humans will continue to prove that intelligence, adaptability, and morality are as important as raw power. Dr. Dane added, They will remember us, not for destruction, not for fear, but for what humans truly are. That is more powerful than any weapon. Vorn turned to his crew. Prepare to return to the Predator. The Council has seen what humans can do when challenged. Now it is time to show them how humans act in diplomacy, in trade, and in cooperation. Our reputation is built not on fear, but on intelligence, courage, and moral strength. The humans returned to their ship, quiet, disciplined, and proud. Outside, the Council chambers buzzed with debate. Delegates discussed what they had witnessed, the precision, adaptability, and moral judgment of humans. Even those who had doubted or mocked now regarded them with a mixture of caution and admiration. Vorn walked to the observation deck of the Predator, looking out at the stars. The galaxy had changed in a single day. Species that had dismissed humans as insignificant now recognized that they were unpredictable, intelligent, and disciplined, a species to be reckoned with. Dr. Dane joined him silently. Captain, humanity has made its mark. The Council respects us. The galaxy now knows that humans are not to be underestimated, Vorn nodded. Yes, but this is only the beginning. Humans will continue to grow, innovate, and endure. The galaxy will learn that intelligence, adaptability, and morality are just as powerful as firepower. The Predator fleet, sleek and silent, glided through the stars. Each ship was a symbol of human ingenuity, discipline, and restraint. The Council had witnessed only a fraction of their capability, but it was enough to change perception forever. Inside the Predator, the crew reflected quietly. They had not destroyed or conquered. They had defended, adapted, and acted with intelligence. And in doing so, they had earned the galaxy's respect. Vorn's gaze returned to the stars. Humans are no longer insignificant. The galaxy knows it now, but there is more to show, more to prove. Today we earned respect. Tomorrow we will continue to earn it with every action, every decision, every challenge we face. Dr. Dane smiled softly. Captain, the Council may fear our unpredictability, but they also admire our discipline. That combination will make humans legendary. Vorn's expression was calm, almost serene. Not legendary for fear, Dr. Dane. Legendary for intelligence, courage, and moral choice. That is what sets humans apart. Outside, the Council chambers slowly emptied, delegates floating back to their respective worlds. Some still whispered doubts, but the tone had changed. Humans had proven themselves not by conquest, not by threat, but by showing what a small, disciplined species could achieve when pushed to the edge, and yet, always choosing intelligence over recklessness. The Predator turned its course back to human space. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, a reminder of the vast galaxy humanity had yet to explore. The Council had witnessed a new era, the day they realized that humans were unpredictable, disciplined, and morally strong. Captain Vorn walked to the observation deck once more, alone for a moment. The galaxy believes humans are young and insignificant, he whispered. They are wrong. and they will continue to be wrong until they learn that intelligence, courage, and moral strength cannot be measured by numbers or firepower. Dr. Dane joined him quietly. Captain, humanity has a place in the galaxy now, a respected place, and one day, they will learn that humans are not just resilient, they are unstoppable when driven by purpose and intelligence. Vorn's eyes gleamed, reflecting the distant stars. Yes, humanity will endure, humanity will adapt, humanity will thrive, and the galaxy will never forget the day it witnessed the Predator unleashed without warning. For the first time, the humans allowed themselves a small sense of quiet pride. They had defended themselves, earned respect, and changed the perception of their species forever. And though the council chambers had calmed, the ripple of humanity's impact spread silently across the galaxy. The story of humans was only beginning. They had survived, adapted, and thrived on their own world. Now in the galaxy, they had proven that intelligence, discipline,